your conclusions, please.
I understand your frustration with the news media. I have the same thing, but they do tell some truth, and that's how we get the news. And you know, if the terrorists are such a small percentage of your belief or your group, I can't see why you can't take care of them. And if you can't get the message out, we do it by protesting in the street. Protest in the street. We just like to see something come from you, saying you disagree with what's going on.
Can I answer that?
The difference between the Quran and the Bible to me, if I could just make a little statement. The Bible was written in 1,500 years. It was 66 books by 40 different authors. It was wrote in 3 different continents, 3 different languages: Asia, Africa, and Europe. Your Quran was wrote over a pretty short period of time after the Bible. We believe the Bible was an inspired word of God. And in order for us to get to heaven, we have to honor Jesus Christ. He's my Savior. And that separates us from all the religions. And I believe you have the right to worship whoever you want to. I believe I should have the right to worship whoever I want to too. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks for it. That's the basic thing. Everybody has the right to live with this religion. Thank you.
Can I make a statement?
Yes.
I appreciate your comments, but I want to throw a monkey wrench in here for us all. And as we look back in the Christian faith, you're looking back at the times of the Inquisition, when we were killing people left and right, the Catholic Church. And again, I hear what you're saying. A group should be able to stand up and say, you're representing us wrong, and this is intolerable. But it didn't happen back then. It's difficult to get as soon as that small group starts to make noise, which I'm sure they have, and I know they did back in the Inquisition's time, but they were snuffed out.
Yes.
They immediately became the target.
The issue will be taken care of, but it will take some time. It's so new. It was brought up 15 years ago, and we are shocked by it, and we will deal with it. And what we are trying to do here is a little attempt will eventually make sure that no crimes will be committed in the name of Islam with time. And that's what happened with Christianity, and that's what's going to happen with Muslim people. But we need some little time. We've just understood what's going on. We will be better at spreading the message. We'll do that. We are not doing good enough, but we will probably, for sure, do better.
Sister, you want to respond?
Yeah. Hi. About what the gentleman said regarding what we're doing at work, or the protests are saying about, or like going to the streets and so on. So if I'm a media person and I want to do a scoop, do I look for the bad news or the good news? No, I look at the bad news, because the bad news brings me more people to watch. I will look at the things that will drag more attention, that will get people infuriated, that will get people more mad, and will reach the point. So if I said that there's a group of people who are protesting for this bad idea, that's not interesting news. That's not an interesting headline. So I'm not going to go up and tell about it in the news. So there are protests. There are people going to the streets. There are people who are closing their associations, they're closing companies, they're doing, there are some actions. But if you don't see them in the media, that doesn't mean they're not happening. They are happening. But you're not seeing them because they don't want to show you. They don't want you to see them. They need to make us, or mainly Muslims, if I want to say, as targets. We're bad people, so let's keep that image. We need to keep that image as they're bad people. So why should we put something that would defend them? No, they will not. So let's keep it that way. Another point, like as the gentleman said before, we have very limited power when it comes to controlling these kind of actions. We do not rule countries. We are a religion. We are communities. we are a faith. We have our mosques, we have our people, we are peaceful, we are on our own. We do not have a president, we do not have governments, we do not have a parliament, we don't have that. So we don't even have an army to defend or to stop these actions from going on in the whole world. And I want to describe what is going on in the small percentage you're talking about. This small percentage is like an insect that goes into a huge box of apples. Well, this small insect destroys the whole box of apples. But is it a small insect? So how about finding this insect in the huge box of apples? It is very hard to do that. And in the meantime, while you're trying to find this small insect, the whole apples are damaged. So this is what's happening exactly with this small percentage. They're ruining a lot. They're making a lot of noise when they're really, really small, but they're making a lot of noise because the damage they're doing is internal. It is internal, and so it appears in a very huge, image. And the media comes in and magnifies things. So you can see that if we want to do things, we are doing things. Why are we doing things? Because we don't want this to happen. We are being affected as much as you guys. We as Muslims, we are being bullied because we're Muslims. We are being, people look at us in a very, very ugly way, and that's not pleasant. That's not what we want. We want to spread peace. This is the main message of Islam. We came with peace. This is the thing. So when someone comes and approaches me and tell me, well, you kill people. No, I don't kill people. No, I will not kill people. I don't want to kill people because killing people is wrong. It is not something I'm coming to do. I will not do, and I will not even think about it in my everydays. Not because this is just something I believe. This is my faith. This is Islam. This is what the message is about. So if we want to talk about these small groups who are doing this huge damage, they're diseased. They have their own troubles they have to deal with. And if we want to fix it, we have to fix how media looks at it. That's first of all. Second of all, if we want to fix it, we have to unite. We can't go on and on. How you should do this. Why don't we do it together? Then you want to blame someone? Don't blame someone. Start with yourself. Don't just say, well, I've heard our neighbor is throwing garbage beside his house, and he's making our neighborhood very nasty, or making it looking very miserable. Well, okay, you can go to your neighbor and tell him, please remove your garbage. If he didn't remove his garbage, you should remove the garbage. This is for the sake of everybody else. If this person is bad, you don't blame the whole community on this person's bad default. You just do the action yourself. So you want to fix something? Go ahead and fix it yourself. Just don't depend on anyone else. Don't pin it on someone else. Don't pin it on the people around you. Don't pin it on someone who looks like this person or who's in this community of Muslims just because he's a Muslim. That's not right. That's not right. It goes back way ahead in racism to, I don't mean any offense of course, to black people and white people, things that were happening before. People used to look at the person, he's black, he's bad. No, it's not. The same thing is happening right now. If there's a black person that is bad, that doesn't mean he's bad because he's black. He is bad because he's bad. Because this is his manners, this is his own troubles. And if I look at a terrorist and he's doing bad things because he's Muslim, no, he's not. It's not because he's Muslim. He is not a Muslim. He is not following anything of the Muslim religion. He's just using this name to fulfill a media publication. He's using this name to reach a headline. If I want to reach a headline, I will do something that is so huge and so damaging to reach a headline. This is how I do damage. This is how we ruin countries. We just hit headlines. And media is like a very cold war. We should take care of that. So we are doing things. We are trying to fix it. In each one of our countries, countries that have Muslims, in each one of our countries, we're victims of terrorism as well. We try as much as we can in cooperation with the country's governments, with the military of the country to search for these people who are trying to do this bad thing. But how much power do we have? We don't have an army. We don't have weapons. We don't have anything to defend ourselves with except speech, except words, except wisdom. And as he said, we need to do education. And education is a kind of a far goal. It's something that doesn't happen between a day and night. It's going to take time to happen. That's one. Second of all, we should make sure that we don't look at each other based on our faith or based on our religion. I look at you, at what you do. Are you nice to me? Am I nice to you? Then okay, we have mutual respect. There you go. That's life. That's happiness. That's peace. That's what we're trying to do. If someone is doing something bad, that doesn't mean that the neighbor of this person is bad. No, it's not. It doesn't mean that at all. So the thing I'm trying to summarize in total, Islam came with peace. Muhammad came with peace. And so did Jesus. And so did Moses. And so did all of the other prophets ever since humanity started. So peace is the main thing to govern our world. We need to live with each other in peace. Otherwise, we're going to kill each other. That's how things happen. That's how murder happened. That's how killing happened, because we didn't like each other. We didn't come to each other in peace. When we come in peace with each other, then we can find mutual respect. It doesn't really matter if I believe in your faith or not. It doesn't really matter if you believe in my faith or not. I believe in you as a human. You treat me nice, I treat you nice. And sometimes I treat you nice not because you're treating me nice. I treat you nice because this is my manners. This is how I work. This is how I'm raised, and this is the right thing to do. You didn't do me any bad thing. Why should I do you a bad thing? That's the whole thing about religion. And this is the message of all religions around the world, and especially Islam. So if I want to look at Islam, it's kind of like a law. It governs a community that follows it. It's a book, like any book of laws, like the law of the United States, like the law of any country. It's a law. It governs many areas. How one treats another. How to defend yourself militarily. What is the law of food? What is the law of taxes? What is the law? It has laws. This is a law. So by law, I am not allowed to kill anyone. By law, if I kill anyone, I will be punished. This is a rule. Second of all, by law, I have to be nice to someone else. By law of Islam. So if I am abiding by Islam truly, and if I'm holding the name of Islam truly, I will abide by those rules. And if I'm saying I'm Muslim and not abiding by that rules, by those rules, I'm not a Muslim. I will never be a Muslim if I don't abide by the rules. If you love someone so much, like someone, like your mom, your dad, your best friend, whoever the person you worship so much, if they tell you to do something, wouldn't you do it? Yes, you would, because you have complete faith in them, because you love them, because you know they're telling you the best for you. So what about the creator of everything? What about the hugest faith ever? The faith in the creator, the mighty creator, Allah. The one who created everything and gave me everything, including food, air, shelter. He gave me earth. He gave me everything I could dream of. He gave me whatever I could dream of. So if he tells me to do something, I will do it blindfoldly because I believe in him. Because I believe he's telling me what is best for me. He has nothing to lose. He owns everything. So he's doing this for my own sake. So this is exactly what Islam is seeking for. So, yeah.
Questions? Yes, sister. Just let.
I will come, please. The best way to understand the present is to go to the history a little bit. So, when Islamic states were ruling themselves in Islamic law, there were no problems. There were no terrorism. The problems came when maybe 100 years ago, when the Islamic world came under attack from people, and they changed a lot of things. They separate the Islamic world too many regions, too many states. All the states have, they kept something between the states to keep their fighting. Yes, they did that. I don't know, intentionally or not intentionally, I'm not sure. But there's something happened in the Islamic world 100 or something years ago that changed everything. 1,000 years, 1,300 years, when Islam were controlling this huge place, this big number of people, there were no terrorism, there were no problems. And this is a fact.
Thank you for the comments. I will get back to ladies first. Yes, sister.
You were talking about how you all have to go through the 5 prayers every day. I assume that the children are schooled in this from the time they're very small. And your children go to school with my grandchildren. And they won't let us have, the government says you gotta separate schools and prayers. It didn't hurt us, and it certainly didn't hurt them. That's just my opinion. But these children go to school, and they're bullied, and some of them are afraid to go to school because of the way they're treated. Don't you think that if we're going to stop any of us, we got to start in with this. We got to start teaching kindness, and that you treat your fellow human beings as you would like to be treated. Our children aren't doing this in school, and if they're not going to church or Sunday school, then they're not getting it. They're getting educated by this horrible stuff that we see on TV. And people say, well, my children don't see that. Yes, they do. If the parents are watching it, these little sponges are soaking it up and taking it to school.
Sister, I don't have any children. Do you have any children? Okay. Yes.
I have them here. I seriously never open the news in front of them. I don't let them watch it because I just raise them to be kind to everybody. They don't know the difference. Newly they start to notice. They're around 8 now. Newly, I'm worried about them more than about me because I am grown up. I can handle my stuff. I know how to handle people reaction. But as you said, I'm worried about them getting bullied at school. I'm worried about them getting these stuff. But they are close to that age now, which is to understand there's something. We are different. We are not the same. They come to me, approach me with these. Why we are different? And this is something I'm trying with them my best, not to let them ever have any less self-confidence than others. But it's something when you get raised up here in America, for example, which was far away from culture. So I do my best always to educate them at home, but I'm worried about them more than anything else. Because I can face my problems, I can handle people fear and hate, but they don't. They don't know anything. I'm sure they will ask me when we go home, what's going on? Why people were talking to you like this? They sponge, as you said, they got everything. So hopefully they only get the good part. Yep, go ahead.
My little grandson is autistic, and he does not understand. Say, if I was to tease him and say, you got crazy hair, that to him would be offensive, because he doesn't understand. And I'm sure your children wouldn't either.
Yes.
Understand, I was just teasing and joking. And my grandson goes to school, and these children know that he's different. Don't really care why, just that he's different. And as far as I can see, nobody's teaching them all to be kind to each other.
I just feel this is something about home. As you said, in education, maybe they don't have such class, which is, as having kids at school, I never heard about such class. But they teach them to be nice to each other. If they're having any fights during breaks, they teach them to solve. They let them come and talk to each other, try to solve it. But it's a parent role as well. As Maryam was saying, each one has to do his role in this world. If you are a mom and you have kids, you have to educate them. And if you are sitting here today, you have a role. You have to go to talk to your friend and tell them what's happened and educate them. Well, each one of one has to do his role in the right way. So you guys have a big role tonight. And we still have a role to do. But as a mom, I definitely has a role toward my kids to educate them to be kind, which is the most important thing. Be kind to people, even whatever he react from them. Miriam, do you want to add something?
Yeah, about that point, I work with special needs kids, especially autism, so I know what you're talking about, and how like inclusion systems sometimes can be fearful because the child will be discriminated based on him having a disability or being different from his peers. And it is bad. The thing is, it is a problem of education in the school system, in the curriculum. Like, we don't need to put a class for how to treat one another. It's not how things go. That's not how children teach. They're sponges, like you said. So if I see, like if I, a child, see my mom treating someone bad because he's black, I will do the same. If I see my mom being offensive to someone because he's Christian, he's Muslim, he's whatever his religion is, I will be the same. This is me being a sponge. In school, it's going to be the same. So I'm not going to go put a class to teach the children about this. I'm going to teach them the differences. So I'm going to go, we have in our community this and this and this and that. I'll list them out. So they will know that there are some people that are different than me. However, these people being different doesn't mean that I can treat them differently. It's not going to be a class. It's going to be something that is included in the system of education. That's for the school part. As for the parents, we don't live in a time where knowledge is exclusive. We have internet, we have webs, we have a lot of fields to learn from. So if we want to educate ourselves, we will be able to educate ourselves. Like we read about other things, we can educate ourselves in a very good manner. So we as parents, or we as peers, we as any part of the community, we have the responsibility of educating ourselves to educate the children in return.
I really appreciate your question because I heard tons of discussion regarding this type of question, how to deal with children, with this type of circumstances they are experiencing in the media. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you. We'll go.
The experience I've had is maybe more so than some of the other folks here. I spent a little over a year in Iraq, and I had to come home on an emergency leave because my wife was ill. Well, on my plane ride back from my base, there was another individual on there, and he was a Muslim. We got to talking, and at any rate, he asked me, well, where are you from? I said, Michigan. His face lit up, and everything. He says, yeah, me too. And I thought, really? And I said, oh, wait a minute, Dearborn. And he says, no, not Dearborn, Detroit. And I said to him, Darva, anybody with any sense does not live in Detroit. He just laughed, and we got to talking about why we were going home. His wife was also sick, and she was pregnant. And so I said to him, I said, Darva, I said, I said, I really can't understand what is going on here. I said, back in Detroit and Dearborn, I said, do you have Sunnis? He said, yes. Do you have Shias? Yes. I said, do you have Kurds? Yes. Do you have Chaldean? Yes. Do you have Christians? Yes. I said, okay, but you don't run around shooting each other and blowing things up and whatnot. He says, no, he says, it's against the law. I said, you mean all we need to do is get some laws passed? This is all going to stop? He says, no, Don, you don't understand. I said, yeah, I guess not. So that was my experience with it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot for sharing it. That's really good experience.
Yeah, I would say this is. I appreciate your comment when you emphasize this. This goes back to the same point that I mentioned. In our home countries, there's no problems for more than 1,300 years. There's no at least observable big problems. There's something happened, but it's reality. The problems comes when someone who's from outside came and roll our home countries and change some things in people. And we are keeping the same mistake, coming to other countries and trying to fix their problems. This is definitely, in our Islamic world, will turn everything in so bad way. So this is a part of the problem, I know that.
Thank you. If nobody...
Take a couple more questions.
Okay, yeah, I think...
I'm feeling that you are a little bit late for you. I'm okay.
I'm good.
So,
I don't want to wear you guys out, and I don't know about you guys either, but
yeah, if anybody has questions,
we're good.
we will take 2 questions, okay? Just 2 questions, yes.
I'm looking up here, the misconception of women in Islam. Can you address that?
Women in Islam? Who want to talk about women rights in Islam? You want to talk about that?
This is like, as everybody said, it's an encyclopedia by itself. I could go on and on and on all night about women's rights, but in general, women in Islam are treated with respect. They have their rights, they have their duties like any Muslim. They're human after all, so they have to abide by the rules of Islam. However, there are some things that govern Muslims' behavior in a society different from other things, like how women approach men. For example, there are some limits in approaching men. We cannot like handshake, hug, kiss, whatever the touching is, any mode of touching between a man unless he was a relative to us in a very specific manner. And they are very simple. There are the father, the brother, the uncle from the mother, and the mother and the father, and the grandparents. And of course, when there comes the husband, and of course the son. So these are the limited people or the limited men a woman can approach in physically. But that doesn't prevent her from being a communicative person in a society. You see us women, we're standing, we're talking to a lot of people. So it doesn't prevent us as women from being friends, having friends, or knowing people from different communities. A woman has the right to learn, to work, and of course she's going to be a mom, she's going to be a responsible housewife, and she has, like any other woman in the world, these rights to be a human being. But there are some things that govern, for example, that there are some decisions that her husband has to do for her and so on. But these are so details that are minor details that when someone gets into Islam will know and will understand that they're so just and they're so basic and they're so, they are for the benefit of the woman after all. It helps her. And it helps her how to rule her family, to be a mother, to be a wife, and how to be comfortable. Because women have rights in Islam more than men. Trust me, just ask them. We have a lot of rights. Yeah, we have rights more than men. Like men are kind of, they have to do a lot of things for us as women because we are precious to God. We are so precious to God that God, in one of Prophet Muhammad's sayings, He put heaven under the feet of the mothers. That's how precious we women are to God. So women in Islam are so appreciated. They're in a very high place. It's enough that there's a chapter in Quran that is called women. It is a Nisa. It's a chapter that is about women, first of all. And there's another chapter that talks about the story of how Jesus, peace be upon him, was born, which is called Maryam, the Virgin Mary. So there are 2 chapters about women in the whole Quran because God knows our value in a society and what can we do. This is women in Islam.
And also all the misconceptions of women are oppressed and we have no say are just, like she said, are when those little things like our husband will make a decision for us, they're for our benefit. And also a lot of the misconceptions come from the culture, they're not from Islam. Like a lot of, what is one of the big things that people say?
Like women are not allowed to go out.
Yeah, they're not allowed to drive. I'm pretty sure my mom drives me to school every day, but yeah, it's like those are laws of those countries. Those are the practices of those cultures. They're not of the religion of Islam. So.
Yeah, so just what she's trying to point out, the basic thing that we want women as a human, not an object. We don't like to objectify them. We want them as a human. We will take only 2 questions, please.
About women.
It is a perfect example that media is exaggerating things that bring some attention. You know what? There's only one country in the world who are not allowed women to drive. It is Saudi Arabia. There is more than 40 or something with 50 countries. All these countries are Islamic countries, and they are allowing women to drive, and there's no one to speak about this. So this is a perfect example. And you know what? In Islam, the man is financially responsible for his women. So women in the Islamic law are not responsible for their own financial needs. She will be either a daughter for a man, and he will take care of her. She will be a wife for a man, and he will take care of her. And she will be a mother for a man, he will be take care of her. So in the Islamic law, she is without any financial responsibilities. If I am married for a woman who is wealthy than I am still responsible to provide her with the financial needs. This is a fact in Islam. So no one mentioned these good facts about Islam, the good rights. Yeah, they are just picking the bad stuff.
They said women don't know how to drive. But my first accident was with a woman. She was a driver. She hit my car.
Islam, if you marry any woman, you know she was smoking, and you mustn't prevent her after you marry to smoke, because you know her that it isn't happy. Many things, if you know about her before marriage, you must change her after marriage. This is Islam.
I will take only 2 questions, please. 2 questions. Okay. Yes, please. Yes.
They have covered what would they call it?
Hijab.
And what does it represent when you cover the head? There's no other reason.
No, it is. Where is it?
Okay, so you understand?
There's something else.
For me, it is to remind me of my religion. It's for me to show who I am to everybody else, and to it's like my identity. It's like how I represent myself. It reminds me to be a good person, and also like I just wear it because it I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it's okay. Here, she can explain it better for you.
Okay, as she said, it's an identity. It's something that between you and yourself, you agree to do because it helps you, or it soothes you, it makes you who you are as a Muslim. But we can go to facts rather than what we think. In Islam, the cover is for our benefit. We look at women as so precious that they need to be preserved in a very safe environment. So hijab covers all of her beauty in a way that only men who deserve her can see that beauty. And you cannot find like a brother, a father, or uncle, and coming to the husband that would want to hurt their woman. or they want to do harm for their women. That's why she's allowed to be in touch with them. And that's why she's allowed not to wear hijab in front of them. So hijab protects me. It gives me my safety as a woman in a society where, let's face it, some men are greedy. And there are a lot of, there is bad in the world, so we can hear a lot of raping, we can hear a lot of sexual abuse for women and so on. So this is for me to be protected. As we all say as well, we can look back to nuns in Christian. What do they wear? They do cover their heads. They don't? Yes. Why do they do that? Why do nuns cover their head? It's a sign of me giving my whole soul to God. This is me being a slave for God. This is me worshiping God in this way. That's it. The choice of wearing hijab. Well, in Islam it's not. Yeah. In Islam it's not. But of course, not all Muslims wear hijab. Even, by the way, in Christian, in the Christian religion, women are supposed to wear hijab, like a coverage.
So just one thing that it is not only mandatory to be, to be nice wearing hijab for women. It is also mandatory for men. You should be. You have to wear. Right. You have to keep distance with proper distance, and you have to also wear loose garments so that it doesn't attract anyone. So.
Yeah. Just I want to add a little bit. Do you notice who asked that question? It was a woman. I mean, the guys wouldn't ask that question. I mean, listen to me. Let's admit it. If you look at the movies, and one of the models is walking out, I mean, she's playing around with her hair. She's, I mean, why do girls flick their hair? Why do you guys do that? I mean, from a guy's perspective, hair is part of the woman's beauty, right? And if that's something that stands out, it's something that you can objectify women by, right? And so you can say, okay, then why don't you just cover everything but your hair? You cover your hair also because it's part of your beauty. Yeah. And so from a guy's perspective, I mean, obviously, it's a point where people could objectify women and say, well, that kind of thing. And so that's kind of, I always notice that. It's always the woman the guys never ask that because, I mean, it's kind of obvious. I mean, what we like, obviously, what we look into when we think about women, so.
Nice comment.
Last question.
I don't have a question, as more of a comment. When I was younger, I went to Catholic church, and we had to cover our heads, and then had to take their hats off. So that's the same principle.
Thank you. Question from the back. Yes.
I don't really have a question. I have a comment. Last May, I went to Dearborn on a 5-day mission trip and worked in community gardens in the Dearborn community. And over 5 days, I learned a lot about Islam. And with every learning comes more questions. But while there, we were able to visit a mosque. I got to see a school that was full of children, and I thought they were doing a special program. They were reciting the Quran, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we teach verses to our children, and their children are learning the whole book of Quran. A whole new respect came for your faith. It did not change mine, but a new respect came for yours. And I think this is what this is all about, is just learning respect for each other.
It's a mutual respect. You just need mutual respect.
We were able to see a funeral of the imam of the
Imam scholar.
Imam?
Yeah.
Of the mosque took us on a tour, and we got to eat in a Lebanese restaurant and a Syrian. I mean, we just ate a lot.
I hope you enjoy your trip.
The bakery was the best. We went into the grocery store, that was just huge with fresh fruits and different foods than what I was used to. And I hope to go back this summer on another immersion program for a day and a half and take some of my friends to see your culture and your religion at work. It was very worthwhile, and I appreciate you being here. And it has to be hard for you to come into our territory. It was hard for me to go into yours. But by the end of the 5th day, I was very comfortable.
Yeah. You reach our goal for understanding each other and just having this respect. This is our goal. Thank you for this.
So I will not take any more comments or questions. I think.
Although we will still hear. For me, I'm happy to You can.
I got it plugged in now. We can go as long as you want.
Yeah. So I have two news for you. Can I allow there? Okay. So in March 19th, we will arrange a interfaith dialogue. We will offer some dinner in the local mosque in Mount Pleasant, March 19th, Saturday, around 4:30 we'll start. So basically the non-Muslims who are really interested to know and to learn about Islam and about Muslim community, you are all welcome to join in 19th of March. So we can have more. It will be on Saturday, so I think you'll be free to join with us. This is the first. Second things, I took some Quran with me, couple of Qurans, not a lot, couple of Qurans. So if you allow me, maybe if anybody interested to have the Quran, get a free copy. I have couple of very few copies. I can give you the English translated version.
Can you turn some slides to present some resources about Islam and literature?
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you feel different now than when you did when you came in?
Do you?
And again, isn't that the goal? Well, you know, that's for another day, I think. It's fascinating because, you know, we're so used to believing the stuff that's put in front of us. We become a product of that environment almost. And yet, like tonight, to be able to talk and to communicate with someone that we don't quite understand or that we have questions about makes all the difference in the world. Now, in our Sunday services, we've been talking about becoming like Jesus. Isn't that what he did? I want to make sure that I thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for being here and taking your time, dragging the kids out, and, you know, all that stuff. And again, let's give them a big round of applause. And thank you. March 19th sounds good, and yeah, again, we want to thank you so much, and maybe we can just mingle a little bit, and I'm sure others have questions. Again, thank you.